outside. first one is Joy to the World.
You're spoiling it, Maya. I'm gonna make them sing that Joy part on Joy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, I'll do that, Chris.
But I mean, like,
You gotta come sit by the fire, Joe.
oh, is that real?
I think it has heat. I was saying, because I'm singing. Yes.
Whew. All right, we're going to get rolling here. If you're just coming in, come on, find a seat, grab some coffee, and we're going to make some music together. We got some fun to be had today. Some smiles, some joy. So yeah, let's get in the spirit a little bit. This is Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let all their songs employ the fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains. Repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations move. The glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. Thanks for being here, spreading some joy, showing up. Nice hoodie, Chris.
Joyful, joyful, we adore you, God of glory, Lord of love. Nights unfold like flowers before you, opening to the sun. we're I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's getting kind of close to Christmas time. So we're singing some Christmas carols, and I'd love, even if we're kind of spread out, feeling a little sparse and whatever, I think standing up, singing out loud feels pretty good. So I would encourage you to stand up and to sing this out. This is God Rest You Merry Gentlemen.
Gentlemen, let nothing you display. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. From God our Heavenly Father, a blessed angel came to soothe our shepherds, brought tidings of the same. How that in Bethlehem was born the Son of God by name. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Now to the Lord sing praises, all you within this place, and with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace. This holy tide of Christmas doth bring living grace. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
All right, all ye merry, gentle people, welcome. Have a seat. If you want to feel cozier, squish on in towards the middle. Feel free to get up, get coffee. Bathrooms are that way. There are really nice elementary school bathrooms with the big bin sinks. And past that, there's a gender-neutral bathroom with a changing table that's accessible. So follow the signs down that hall if you need to. Feel free to move around as needed this morning. My name's Melissa Locke, and Merry Christmas, couple days early. Welcome to this space where we gather as Fabric every Sunday. Especially welcome if this is your first visit, or maybe second or third, or honestly, if it's your 103rd, way to come back, because this is something worth coming back to. In fact, I was talking with the crew this morning, and we were all kind of comparing notes about things that surprised us when we first got to know Fabric. And one of the people said, well, I was born here. So it's just what they've always known. And I often get the privilege of meeting people when they're pretty new around here. And one of the stories I love is, and it's a common way people are surprised, is they come, they maybe sit in the back or on the edge and kind of check it out, because it's kind of risky to check out a community like this. And then they come eventually one day over to that table with a question mark, or they find someone here and they say, well, what do I like this, but what do I have to do to like join or to be part of this? And the answer is you're in. Like, there's nothing to do. There are no strings. There are no things you have to believe or ways you have to dress. Except for today, you should have your Christmas socks on. Yeah. Anyway, I love socks. I think you know that, if you know me very well. So welcome. Yeah. Welcome to this place where you can pause and rest and get perspective and meet people that you might not meet in any other way. Those are just some of the things I love, some of the things I see happening in this community. And it happens over time, and people have seasons of involvement and engagement and different ways to connect. So I just want to emphasize that freedom and that openness for you to be fabric on your terms. And there aren't a lot of places in the world with such a high level of possibility and low stakes. Like, you're not going to lose, okay? So anyway, let's take a breath and just feel that freedom. Today we get to talk about joy and some of the complexities of that in this season. Welcome to Joe Davis joining Ian today. We're so glad you're here, Joe. We had such a fun weekend last week. I was not here, but I watched it on live stream, was crying as I did. It was Alice in Christmasland, and our kids put together an amazing production. And kids who may not get to be part of a performance in any other time, they get to shine, and they share a story, and they share inspiration. So last week, this is some of the pictures of them practicing, and it's been going on for over a month of practice, and a lot of adults helped. And so let's just clap our hands. They're in there watching it right now in the gym, so let's clap so they can hear us. Woo, kids! That was so fun. So you can check it out, get a taste. If you have kids or know kids and you want to know where's a community that takes kids seriously and where they know that kids are such a gift to us and help us take ourselves less seriously and be more present, bring them here, okay? Watch that production if you want to get a sense for one of the big special things they get to do. Okay, I'm filling in for Aaron Lay, so I have to check notes because Aaron doesn't have a voice. Boo. Kind of hard to do the welcome with no voice. But next week, next Sunday, Aaron will be up here with a voice, with a microphone, and we will have all eaten 8 delicious chilies made by people here and raising funds for an amazing nonprofit, Wildfire Coffee. They do a great work empowering young people who are experiencing homelessness or who are underhoused and need that web of support and training and practice and just a job, right? A job makes a big difference. So next Sunday, after all the festivities, come and try some of these amazing chilies. Look at those names. It's going to be lots of options, vegan, vegetarian. I don't know. I've been hearing some trash talk among the chefs, too. So I think there's going to be a good spirit of competition. There's also over there for sale, if you're not going to be here next week, come see me, Brittany, Aaron at the raffle table and buy some raffle tickets because that is a way to support Wildfire and win awesome local prizes for places like Venn Brewing, and you can win a French bistro meal home cooked for you with friends by last year's chili chef champion, Jill. Thanks, Jill. And you can also win like an awesome coffee table book with photos and word pairings from Jeanette Mayo for some inspiration all season long in the winter when you need a little light. Check that out. But there's just so many, and it's been so fun to go out into the community and tell them about Fabric and what we're doing, and they're just excited to to be part of it too. And even Full Cycle, last year, who were our recipient of the funds from the chili cook-off, they donated this year a bike shop gift card. So just lots of excitement about that. I am talking too long. All right, you have a Sunday paper, hopefully. Can someone hold theirs up? And inside there is a communication card. It's white, and we love to hear from you on those. So let us know what's happening in your life, any questions you have about the morning, feedback, a favorite song, whatever is on your mind this morning. We love to connect that way. It's one way that we are a community, one way that we have a great feedback loop for the folks up here and what we put together, because this is a collaborative thing. So thanks for being part of that. Last but not least, Tuesday is a special night. I think it's, what holiday? Christmas, yes. Yeah, Christmas Eve, we will be here, but not in the morning. Can you see the time? Take note. Look at the time. 2 p.m. So look at the person next to you and just be like, see you at 2 on Tuesday. All right. And then there's a lot of people that you might know that aren't here this morning, and you can say the same thing to them. Hey, join me it's a little different kind of Christmas gathering. With Fabric, Christmas Eve, 2 o'clock. We will have a wonderful gathering, great music, and community time, and of course, cookies. So we're almost to our goal of 40 dozen cookies. We need at least 10 dozen more though. So put on your card if you can make like a dozen cookies and bring them next week, because it's an awesome feast. It's like Loaves and Fishes. If you know that story, it's a good story, especially when it involves cookies. All right, so it's time to stretch your legs for a minute and say hello before we enjoy some more music and message. And as you connect, why don't you share your favorite cookie or chili? Okay? Yep. Time to say hello. Thanks, everybody. Turner, can you hear me? All right, sorry everyone. We just talked and you weren't even there. But welcome Joe, Ian, welcome live streamers. Sorry we didn't start right on time. We were a little slow, which is kind of needed this holiday season this morning. So I hope that you're relaxed at home and can feel some of this energy. What's your favorite cookie, Joe?
Ooh, anything with chocolate. I'm a big, just fresh baked chocolate chip cookies where it's like ooey gooey when you open it up. Ooh, that's my vibe right there. You can't go wrong with that.
Oh, yeah. Any time of year, not just Christmas. Yeah. Ian?
I love a good spicy cookie, so like a ginger snap, gingerbread, that kind of thing is probably my favorite in the holiday season. Maybe all the rest of the year, something else, but this time of year, spice. Yeah.
I'm getting hungry already. All right, well, live streamers, let us know your favorite cookie and anything else you want to let us know. We're so glad you're connecting, and we love to hear from you. So use our contact page, fabricminneapolis.com. contact and let us know whatever you want. So, all right, thanks.
Who gives a fig? Who gives a fig?
Good morning. Good morning. I am so glad you are all here. I am Ren, and rather than reading a Bible story today, we'll get a good one on Tuesday for Christmas. This morning, I am going to read a few verses from the traditional Advent hymn, O Come, Emmanuel. The word Emmanuel means God with us. So this is traditionally sung as a way of inviting divine joy to show up even in a world of hurt. And so as I read these lyrics, if you're prairie, feel free to take this as a prayer. If you're overwhelmed and so over the holiday, I personally am getting there, please receive this as an acknowledgement of what you're feeling, because there's room for all of it. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appear. O come, wisdom from on high, who ordered all things mighty, to us the path of knowledge show, and teach us in its ways to go. O come, O bright and morning star, and bring us comfort from afar. Dispel the shadows of the night, and turn our darkness into light. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to you, O Israel.
Ever since taking this gig as a mall caroler, I've been wrestling with some pretty big ideas, like peace and hope. Now here I am a couple days before Christmas singing songs about joy. Joy to the world. Come all ye faithful, joyful, and triumphant. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. We toss that word around like tinsel, don't we? Joy, joy, joy. But what is joy, really? I mean, Christmas can be tough. People are hurting, finances are stretched thin, and then there's the memory of people that used to sit around our Christmas dinner tables but aren't there anymore. I mean, grief and sorrow can show up just as easily as carolers, and oftentimes hand in hand with the smell of gingerbread and pine needles. I mean, is that what we call joy? There's that song that says something about repeating the sounding joy. Well, let me tell you, I'm lucky if I can hold joy in my hand for more than a moment, let alone claim that it's somehow mine to keep.
We're going to give sorrow a little space to breathe this morning. Well, welcome. I'm Ian. Glad to be with you today. We are talking about these Christmassy words, right? Peace, hope, joy, love, all these Christmassy words that sometimes get thrown around like tinsel, like our mall caroler said. But we're really looking at these words. There's a simplistic understanding of them, right? The whole series, this whole December, we're looking at this quote from Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., who said that for the simplicity on this side of complexity, for that I wouldn't give you a fig. But for the simplicity on the other side of complexity, for that I would give you anything I had. And so we're wondering today a little bit at what is joy? What is joy that has room for sorrow? What's a joy that's not threatened by sorrow or grief? Is it possible to experience joy or to hold a posture of joy? So we're kind of getting at that. So there's a slide, I think, that will come up here about joy and happiness. I think often in my understanding of joy, I often connect it with happiness, like that emotion of happiness. And so I would say that joy is actually a deeper emotion than happiness. And it comes from within. My happiness is often experienced by external things that happen to me. I feel happy when something happens to me. I feel happy until I feel sad, and then I don't feel happy anymore, right? So you can either feel one or the other. But joy, I think, is this, it comes from within. It's the sense of purpose and meaning, including finding meaning in suffering and from relationships with others. And so that's kind of where I wanted to just start this a little bit, to kind of plant that idea that joy and happiness actually maybe aren't one and the same. And to be with me today, I am so excited to welcome my friend and yours back to Fabric. Joe Davis is an author, a poet, a musician, an educator. I've seen you dance. I've seen you groove. So everybody, let's welcome Joe Davis back to have a conversation with us. Hey, buddy.
Right on.
Good to see you.
Y'all love to be here. Good to see you as well.
Come on up.
Hello, friends. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
So, Joe, you haven't been here since, I think it was the spring.
I think so. Somewhere around here.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, what are you up to?
Oh, man, that's a big question. Because I'm a creator, so I'm always creating something.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a theater production I'm super excited about. That's going to happen summer 2025, but already getting ready for that. And then my band and I are producing our debut album. So we've been together for like 10 years, and we're finally going to drop an album.
I love it.
It's a blessing. Yeah, grateful.
Sweet.
So, and I don't know if I'm even supposed to tell people this, but I'm working on my 4th book, too. So.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. We won't tell anybody. Live stream. Quiet. Oh, that's so cool. So, Joe, again, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
This time of year is just inundated with there's so much
a lot of
at
emotions.
this time. It's like
all the feels.
I feel like the tinsely, sparkly, a lot of times is asking me to kind of ignore the dark underside, the underbelly of some of these words like joy, but then also I know that grief for me and sorrow for me are big players at this time of year, kind of whether I like it or not, just because of who's going to be at the dinner table on Tuesday, right? Or
who's not
going to be at the dinner, maybe even more so. So we're spending time looking at these Christmassy words and getting at kind of the juicy goodness that in each of these words when there's room for kind of the fullness of human experience and what we're going through, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And so We talked a few weeks ago about hope that has room for fear. We talked about peace that has room for conflict. And so today we're talking, and I'm hoping we can chat a little bit about joy and wonder at what joy is on the other side of sorrow and grief. So like at a 10,000-foot view of these words, what comes to mind? Like how would you characterize your understanding of sorrow or grief or joy?
Yeah, I think there's a relationship there that I've had to cultivate with that because I'm such a naturally joyful person. Like if anybody's familiar with the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 7, which is like the enthusiast, and I love all the good feelings. That's like what I'm all about. But then I've realized that there's something there to be present to those heavier emotions, maybe more grounding emotions of heartbreak and sorrow and grief. And I found a lot of richness, a lot of meaning when I'm able to sit there and be present with that. And it's something I've had to learn throughout my life. Like I wasn't readily like eager to go there, but when I did give myself the space to be present to the sorrow in my life, it just made me feel like a more whole person. And so I've explored that through my writing. Actually, it's okay if I read a poem? Should I read a poem?
I would love it.
Yeah?
Are we cool with this?
Yeah?
I just told Joe if there's a poem, and he brought all his books.
Yeah,
so
I just brought them.
If there's a poem that comes to mind,
Yeah.
let's just go there.
Yeah, I mean, I express myself better through poetry, I feel like, because I'm able to sit with my emotions and articulate, kind of like dance and wrestle with it and birth something from that. And so, one really sorrowful moment in particular, it was like at the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was feeling the weight of everything we were going through, just as a collective. What I was feeling wasn't just individualistic, it was also collective. I was feeling a collective grief from the pandemic, from the uprisings that were happening here, from things that were happening with families and communities. And then I had my own personal things I was wrestling with, but I was avoiding it. I was binge watching Netflix. I was on my phone, but then I felt this still quiet voice, like this tug at my heart, saying just like sit and be still. And I was resisting it.
Yeah.
But finally I was like, okay. So I turned off my phone, put away my computer, and I distinctly remember I was sitting on the edge of my bed, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna listen to my body, listen to my spirit, and that's where I feel God meets me a lot of times. And so I just sat and listened, and I felt like at the pit of my stomach, I felt this like heaviness. I was like, what is going on in my body? I wasn't even aware that I had a body before that, right? But I started listening to my body, and I was like, there's a lot going on inside of me. And there was like this heaviness, and it started to rise and rise, where I was like, yo, that feels like a lot of anxiety. Yeah. And then I listened closer. I was like, there's something even underneath that anxiety, and it felt like there was a sadness, a sorrow, a grief, and it kind of rose and rose and rose, and it came up to my eyes, and I was like, oh, I feel like I want to cry, but I'm not gonna cry. Like, I'm not, I don't want to cry, because I have all this training from throughout my life about what it means when you cry, especially as someone in this body, as a man. Like, I think in general, we don't allow a lot of space for tears. Yeah. Like, you see someone crying out in public, like, what's wrong? Like, don't cry. Yeah. Right? We're taught that from a very young age. But we have tear ducts for a reason, right? I know that doing the work I've done in like mental health and emotional well-being and going to therapy and having these conversations with folks, I realized how healthy it is to allow ourselves to cry. And so I just felt like this sense, this voice, this tug, this pull to say, just let go, just release, just surrender. And so I did. I like allowed myself to cry. And I didn't just cry though. I wept. It was like the snot bubbles and everything. Like, it wasn't sexy. It wasn't sexy at all. Like, I'm glad y'all couldn't see me, because it was just pouring out of me. Yeah. Right? And that's where this poem comes from. This poem comes from that really vulnerable moment where I allowed myself to experience some of the most intense grief in my life. It's called You Gotta Cry Sometime. And maybe some of you all can relate to this. And if not, I hope that you can at least create some space for yourself to experience, whatever your body needs you to experience. You gotta cry sometimes. A poem about tears. I sat in silence on the edge of my bed with traffic jam thoughts piling inside of my head. nerves vibrating, tightening like a spiderweb thread. And I gently covered my chest with the palm of my hand. It felt like a part of me bleeding, like every part of me leaving, even the God I believe in. I thought in secret, is this what they call grieving? I was bobbing and weaving till I started releasing so hard I was heaving from the sobbing and weeping. This was the moment I finally let go, a moment the floodgates could no longer withhold, the moment I surrendered and lost all control and let the holy waters wash over my soul. Holy waters, holy water, cleanse me, wash me, hold me gently, hold me softly. Jesus wept. These tears have taught me to weep is human, to weep is godly. When I gave permission for the waves to rise, waters gathered like a choir in the aqueduct of my eyes, singing songs of lament with each changing tide, baptizing my breath with every bathing sigh. Tears of mercy and justice kissed, rolling round my chin to meet. Rivers of righteousness slid around my cheek like a mighty stream. These waters have shown me crying is not a sign of being weak, but love's persistent flow within us during our time of grief. Holy water, cleanse me, wash me, hold me gently, hold me softly. Jesus wept. These tears have taught me to weep is human, to weep is godly. I am not broken. I am breaking open. My heart is learning the art of staying open. No need to fight to hide inside. Try not to let somebody know. I need to cry and remind my eyes to see where new life might flow. Tears make my eyes swell. Tears make my eyes well. I feel a little lighter now. I see a little light here now. There's something in these waters that heals more than time can tell. These waters won't recede until they've watered every seed, and we may be in need to wash, rinse, and repeat. Holy water, cleanse me, wash me, hold me gently, hold me softly. Jesus wept. These tears have taught me to weep is human, to weep is godly. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, Joe.
Yeah.
I remember at that time, there's something in that poem, the holy water welling, like, Rachel and I were on a Zoom call one time with a friend, I think you probably know her too, a poet and musician named Julia Dinsmore.
Yeah, oh yeah, I love Julia.
Julia's amazing.
She's a gem.
Yeah. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think Rachel and I both were in our kitchen looking at this computer screen with a few faces on it and just blubbering similarly, the snot bubbles. It was a drippy cry.
Yeah, the drippy ones, yeah. Know about those. Yeah.
I remember her saying something about how there's research that shows that when tears come out, you can look at the chemical makeup of tears and happiness tears and sadness and grief. There's different kinds of tears.
Wow.
And they do something for us. And she called it holy water. But that was fun. So that was feels connected to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, it felt like a washing and a cleansing. And one thing I note from that moment is that things didn't magically get better after that, but I did feel lighter. And I had more hope. I had a more of a sense of groundedness and a trust. And it felt good.
Yeah.
It felt like it was necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That poem starts with you're sitting on your bed and you put your hand on your chest.
Yeah.
I want to just invite you here on December 22nd, 2024. Christmas is in a couple days. It's cold. It was the darkest day of the year yesterday. So just put your hand on your chest and feel your breath. Be in your body. There's room for sorrow and there's room for grief. And joy will emerge out of it.
Yeah. That's real.
There's something, I didn't hear the word joy in that poem, but I heard something about hope, a light, a lightness,
Yeah.
something from within. And I'm wondering if that is something akin to joy.
Yeah, I think it's like hovering there.
Yeah.
Right. There's a connection. I think that's something that's like lives inside of us. That's you talk about not just the external experience of happiness, but there is something, a lightness, a ease, a sense of joy that's, I think, lives there inside of us that has nothing to do with external circumstances.
Yeah.
It's like rooted. It's rooted in there. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that oftentimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's like happiness comes and goes, and sadness and sorrow come and go. But there's something about joy. Actually, I put some lyrics on the Sunday paper because, no pressure, but I really loved that poem.
Yeah, no, I always got
This
that one.
joy.
ready. Yeah.
And wondering, because I feel like there's a connection in there. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share with
Absolutely.
us about joy.
Yeah, and so this was actually inspired by a song that I sung growing up in the church that I came up in. There's a black spiritual that says, "This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me and the world can't take it away." Right? And I just love that. I love that there's something inside of us that, like, no matter what happens, no matter what anybody says or does, it's there. It's present. And so I wanted to explore that through a poem called "This Joy." So it goes like this. This joy is a practice. This joy is a habit. This joy is a birthright and can't nobody snatch it. More than happiness, it's an everlasting bliss because we survived everything that ever happened to us. We slayed demons and dragons, overcame obstacles and challenges. With bruised feet and calloused hands, they wonder how we dance. They ask us, how can we still smile like this? Children of the Most High, royal descendants, fresh airs, we reign and shine, bringing sight to the colorblind. Can I get a witness? This joy is unspeakable, joy unending. Our very existence represents this joy's persistence. Skin glistening, fists lifted, singing for all those listening. This world can't take this joy because this world didn't give it.
I love that.
Right on.
Yeah.
That joy right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wonder how we dance. They ask us, how can we smile like this?
Yeah. They wonder. Sometimes they don't know.
Yeah, right?
They're gonna learn today.
Joe, I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share with us, in light of the reality of sorrow and with the full recognition of grief and pain and the loss and you name it, like the stuff that bubbles up, especially at this time of year for me.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you? Would you say a little more about this world can't take away this joy because this world didn't give it?
Yeah. I think there's a dance, right? I think that joy and sorrow are dance partners, right? They're interconnected in some ways. But I think that there's a deep rootedness to the joy that I'm talking about, like just a connection to an inner knowing, like a God-given wisdom, an intuition, like that lives within our bodies, that like we can tap into at different times, right? There's different seasons and things happen. We may not always be aware of that, the presence of that within us, but I think it's always there.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
There's this poem by Mary Oliver called Wild Geese that I feel like I bring up wild geese about once every 6 weeks in my own thinking. Like that poem just like really resonates.
Yeah.
But I think one of the most powerfully kind of human lines in that gets skipped over about half the time I read it is, tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. And I often jump to the next line, which is like, meanwhile, the world continues to turn. Meanwhile, whatever. But like to just dwell in that, like tell me about Despair Yours, and I'll tell you mine. I'm wondering, just to crack open, like if we could get into our own sorrow and grief, but also the joy in the midst of it a bit, and invite people in on that. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I think at any given time, there's always something to cry about. There's always something to grieve, right? And at any given time, there's always something to celebrate at any given time, right? But it's like, what are we experiencing in the moment? How are we honoring, like, what we're feeling, honoring our feelings, like all of our feelings? And that's something that I've had to learn how to do, because, like, I want to lean into, like, the feel-good vibes, right? But also, if I want to be a whole person, I have to honor the full spectrum of what I'm feeling and give space for that. And so I found that my capacity to experience grief has deepened my capacity to experience joy. I can't numb one without numbing the other. I can't like limit one without limiting the other. Like they go together. And so I intentionally, actively create space to like experience the full range of emotions. Like I have practices in my life that I have to have in order to do that.
Really?
So,
What kind of, like, I imagine these practices are like to honor the fullness of that. Like what's been helpful for you? Like what kind of practices?
Honestly, like they're really simple. It's not like extraordinary it's like just listening to my body, but I have to sit, and even the hand over the heart, like that's a meditation that one of my mentors, Dr. Joy Lewis, she's a healer and an author and a speaker locally here. And she talks about how even putting your hand over your heart, that activates your body's central nervous system. It can calm your entire body, but it also gives you like this awareness, like listening to your heart and listening to your breath can get your awareness like back into the body. And so for me, like growing up, I didn't always feel safe in my body. So my imagination was my first safe haven. So it was really easy for me to escape into my head and have a rich inner world there. And so I have to have practices like hand over heart, breathing, mindfulness, embodiment. Okay, like getting grounded there and listening to my body. Okay, what do I feel? Where do I feel it? Let me sit there. Let me be patient. Let me be gracious, right? And I have to do that for myself. And then things will come up for me. Like our bodies are always talking to us. We don't always listen, right? So what is my body telling me right now? Am I sad? Do I need to cry? Do I need to just give a little space to like to listen to that, to feel that? And a lot of times I do. So So
I have been growing in awareness, I think, of that, like a willingness to listen to my own body. And I think oftentimes when my body is first telling me that a cry would be helpful, I lock it down. Hold it real tight in the belly. And it's like, like you're talking about that practice of holding your hand over your heart, or like holding your hand over your belly, your gut.
Absolutely.
Like, that has been a helpful practice for me. And so like, even then like this week at Christmas or any time of the year, to like go into any interaction or go into the day with an awareness of like, I probably need to cry and I probably need to let there be space for that and to not let it just be pretty.
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, to affirm that and to validate that, right? I think another thing for me has been a shift in thinking about emotions as positive or negative. And just saying emotions are teachers, emotions are guests, emotions are friends. They like offer us something. They offer us healing. They offer us wisdom, connection. And so I used to have like this kind of bifurcation, this binary of good emotions and bad emotions, but I don't think that way anymore. They're all there for a purpose. So
totally.
So.
We had last night. We had a little Christmas gathering at my parents' house. And in the last 3 years, we have lost in our family 3 people, like pillars of our family. So grandma, grandpa, and then a younger cousin, Katie is her name. She died just unexpectedly in 2021 or 2. 2022, I think. But we were sitting at the table last night, and we were about to play a game. And my aunt and uncle, Katie's mom and dad, noted how weird it was in that moment for them. That, you know, they're having these memories of playing this game that we play every year. You know, it's tradition.
Yeah.
But the blessing of tradition, right, is like you can look forward to it. You can hold on to it. There's something recognizable about it.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side of it is like when the conditions change. You know, Grandma and Grandpa aren't there. Katie's not there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh, this thing that was once just really fun and lighthearted and happy is now tinged with grief and sorrow. And it felt so. I was so grateful to my Aunt Beth last night for naming that in that moment. It wasn't like we weren't going to do the whole emotional bypassing thing, like, oh, fa la 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 la, here we go.
Right.
But like, this is big, right?
Yeah.
And like, we've been talking a little bit about feelings being information, right? Like, feeling hopeful or feeling conflict and peace or fear. That's information. They're also guests, right? And I know that's another poem that you have written. I'm wondering if you would be willing to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Share that.
This is a newer piece I wrote about just like as I lean into embodiment and what can be called like somatic skill building. And just listen to your body.
Yeah.
All sorts of emotions will come up, right? And so how do we honor those emotions? Shout out to Rumi. I got to shout out to Rumi.
Yeah.
He talks about like emotion, like the Guest House was a piece he wrote called The Guest House. And I think that's what partially inspired this piece as well. We're just playing around with that idea of like when our emotions do come, how do we treat them? Are we trying to repress them and kick them out? Are we like, hey, let's have some tea. Let's kick it. Let's talk. Let's be together. And let me learn from you, like from the emotion, like what do you have to offer?
Yeah.
And so this piece is called Emotions Are Guest. It goes like this. Emotions are guests. Emotions are visitors. If we sit with them, they don't have to live with us. Emotions are guests. Emotions are visitors. If they are expressed, there's gifts. There's gifts they can give to us. We meet them with the same sweetness with which they greet us. We get uncomfortable when they get too comfortable and they put their feet up. The temperature was perfect, but they turned the heat up. There's no more food in the fridge for them to eat up. They need to leave. It's past time we speak up. But emotions are guests. Emotions are visitors. If we sit with them, they don't have to live with us. Emotions are guests. Emotions are visitors. If they are expressed, there's gifts they can give to us. As we travel this path we're on, emotions are passengers, and as they're passing through, they have messages they're passing us. We are the drivers of their taxi bus, and while it may feel as if they're taxing us, a ride to the other side is all they're ever asking us. Can we be more hospitable hosts for the guests in our homes who offer us wisdom, songs, prayers, and poems? They have messages to tell us. We can help them help us. They may overstay their welcome, but cannot stay forever. Can we give them a chance to change us for the better? Can we offer them a welcome mat without becoming one? Invite them for coffee or tea until the conversation's done. Unless we give them our blessing, there's no rest yet. Until we fully felt them, there's no exit. The story's incomplete until we finally read it. This too will pass, but only if we let it. Emotions are guests. Emotions are visitors. If we sit with them, they don't have to live with us. Emotions are guests. Emotions are visitors. If they are expressed, there's gifts they can give to us. Yeah, that's that piece right there. It's real simple.
Yeah. I needed
It's that dance.
that.
Yin
Yeah.
yang. You gotta dance. We can wrestle with them, or we can dance with them. We get to choose, right?
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. That's a dance I need to learn the choreography for.
Right, I'm still
sometimes.
trying to get it down too,
Yeah,
man.
right?
I don't got it down yet. Get to practice, right?
Oh, that's
yeah.
beautiful. Okay, one last thing. We talked, you and I, about the word radical.
Yeah.
And
One of my
radical
favorite words.
joy and radical. So, wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about that, because we talked about this Angela Davis
Yes.
quote that was just
Yeah.
awesome.
So shout out to Angela Davis. I like to pretend like she's my auntie.
Yeah.
Auntie Angela Davis, but activist, organizer, speaker, teacher. But she talks about radical, the definition of radical, right? Deriving from like radish, like the etymology of it. And radical means grasping things at the root, right? That's all it means. It's like, how are we grasping at the root, at the essence, the source, the foundation of something, right?
Yeah.
And so when I think about radical joy, right, it's like, what is the source of that? What's deep beneath the surface that we're like tracing and pulling and grasping towards, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's about for me. Sometimes we got to find it. We got to unearth. We got to do some digging. We got to do some waiting and do some wrestling or dancing to get to it.
Yeah.
But it's there. This wellspring of well-being, I like to call it.
Yeah, that's actually
yeah.
a phrase that you had shared with us like 6 months ago.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
connecting to the wellspring of well-being within. And I've been
Yeah.
sitting here thinking about it for like 6 months, and now like, you're talking about like about this like radical joy, and that the definition being grasping things at the root, and it really does feel like sometimes that is labor intensive, right?
Yeah,
Like digging
it can be.
digging something
Emotional
up.
labor. Or,
Yeah. But then
mental,
even, like,
spiritual.
Just metaphorically, like that plants are always rooted down deep. Like
Yeah.
yesterday was the darkest, coldest, theoretically, day of the year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And like plants aren't looking like they're flourishing right now, and yet they're rooted, they're connected
Yeah.
to the very earth, the very source of life and well-being. And we gotta just trust that
Always
exists, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I need reminders, and I
Yeah.
think that's the beautiful thing about community, to be honest. Like spaces like this, I need spaces like this. I need people like you all to remind me on the days where I'm not thinking about it. I'm not feeling it. I don't see it. It's just not there for me.
Yeah.
And maybe I got to be there for a while too, but then eventually I connect with a friend, with someone I care about, someone who cares about me, and they remind me, like, oh yeah, we are connected to that wellspring of well-being.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Joe, any other sort of final thoughts that you would have on joy and sorrow and how they interplay with one another?
Yeah, man, I think we need them both. We need them. They're dance partners. It's like the yin and the yang. As above, so below, as within, so without. They're like, there's ways that things are like interconnected in relationship with each other. And so I think it's absolutely necessary that we honor both.
Yeah.
I think there was a time when I was younger, I didn't realize that. But now that I'm maybe a little bit wiser,
Yeah.
right? Like I see the fruit, I see the value, and it's been profoundly transformative for me.
Yeah.
To give space for both. So I hope we can be on that journey together and practice that together.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Joe, for being with us today and helping us get at the root of some of this.
Absolutely.
Big thank you to Joe.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
This has been rich.
You can. Where's the best place to get your stuff, your books, all of it?
Yeah, I would say the best place probably. I mean, I'm here now, so you can get some now. But I got some in my bag. But
Sweet.
I think joedavispoetry.com or Joe Davis Poetry on anything like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, or whatever they got going on over there. I'm still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe. Just type in Joe Davis Poetry. You can find me on all platforms, and I'm out in the community too. Just hanging out at your local coffee shop out here, we were just hanging out at Hill
It was so
in
good.
North Minneapolis, one of my
Yeah.
favorite spaces to go. So I'm around here too, so I love to just kick it, hang out. And,
Yeah. Well, thank
Right
you,
on.
and
Thank you.
we'll invite the band back up, but thank you again to Joe Davis.
So thank y'all.
Merry
Thank y'all.
Christmas.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks
Much
for being
love.
here.
Appreciate you. Yes. Right on.
Thank you.
Would you go ahead and pass those little white bags in the aisles, please? You can put communication cards in there for all your smart remarks and other important things. But yeah, let's see. I got a little bit of a comment earlier this morning about how this next song is maybe less joyful feeling, and I guess that's true. But as we hold all those things together, it's kind of a like a I don't know, like a reggae blues by Carlos Santana, I hope that you can join us with this. We're gonna kick it off here, and I want to teach you a little line here that Maya's gonna sing through the choruses.
And you will also sing through the chorus.
And Maya will sing with you during the choruses.
All right.
Let's go. All right, so it's just gonna, the words that you'll sing are just joy, okay? And we just sing joy. Just walk right up to it, okay? So try this.
Go. Joy, joy, joy.
Just like that, do that one more time.
Joy, joy, joy.
Yeah, all right, we'll come back to that. Something on the inside coming on strong. Everything wasn't right. I would do no wrong. All I was afraid of bringing me down. All the walls around love falling to the ground. Joy! Like the thunder rumbles, time to let the teardrops tumble. Listen to the hatred crumble.
Okay, this time sing
Now
Joe.
that I have
Joe.
rattling the chains untangled. I see me from a different angle. Now I have joy. Every single minute, every hour, drowning in it, and I can feel the power, and I keep on pushing through the good and the bad, 'cause I believe, because I have joy. Teardrops tumble. Listen to the hatred crumble. Now that I have joy, flying on the wings of angels, rattling the chains untangled, even from a different angle. Now I have joy. All right, well, let's stand up for this last one. Would you please? This old standard made a new standard by the band Weezer. This is the first Noel.
It's a very Weezer Christmas. That's great.
Get your sweaters out.
That's right. Well, again, we're going to be meeting here. Does anyone know what time we're here on Tuesday? 2. Great. I knew it, but I needed you to know it. Okay, good. So 2, and then next Sunday, we'll have our chili cook-off, 11:30, so that our appetites after breakfast are nice and built up. Don't eat breakfast. There's a lot of good chili to have. Yeah, okay, good. Anything else speak for the good of the order before we head out? No? One more big applause for Joe. Thank you, Joe. Joe to the world. All right, all right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being Fabric. We'll see you again soon on Tuesday. Don't forget to pass the baskets if you haven't already. Yeah, we did it. We're good. Thanks for being here. Yeah.